Welcome to Meadowsweet Farm Fiber Arts Design Studio. My name's Bonnie, and this is a podcast about knitting, spinning, weaving, and just about anything that relates to the making of cloth. Today is May 2nd, 2020, and I invite you to sit back and grab a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage and enjoy my creative life here at Meadowsweet Farm. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, welcome to Meadowsweet Farm Fiber Arts Design Studio. My name's Bonnie, and this is a podcast about knitting, spinning, weaving, and just about anything that is related to the making of cloth. And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry and Facebook and all those social media sites, and I'll put the link below where you can get in touch with me. I do have an Etsy shop, and I've been updating that pretty frequently. And please, if you like the video, if you would please subscribe, hit the like, or if you don't like it, hit the dislike button. Well, it's been a while, and it's been since I went on spring break. The second week in March is when we had spring break, and I haven't been back to campus. They extended the students' spring break for an extra week when this all started, and they wanted to have a mandatory meeting for the faculty and all the staff. And the day before I was supposed to go for that meeting, I ended up with a temperature of 101. And I didn't have any other symptoms, just that really high fever. It lasted for about a day and a half, and then I was fine. I didn't have a cold or a cough or anything. So I was never tested, but I immediately started to quarantine myself in the event that I may have contracted it, but I didn't get sick. I didn't have any other symptoms other than that temperature that lasted for a day and a half. It was off and on. Other than that, I've been here at the farm and getting all kinds of things done. One of the things that I did right off the bat was I started making masks for my family and close friends. And then I posted on Facebook that I would make masks for all of my Facebook friends. If they sent me their address, I'd mail them a mask. So that has been keeping me really, really busy. And I've been going into my fabric stash and finding tons and tons of things. So I will share my mask with you later on in the podcast. So I just want to see how everybody is doing. I know this has been a really, really, really crazy time for everybody. And I just, I'm looking forward to to a new beginning. And I know this is going to for a minute there I thought I wasn't recording. I know this is really going to change everyone in so many ways. And the beauty is that I'm hearing from my family and all of my friends, and just trying to stay healthy and focused. So and from what I see on Instagram, folks on Instagram and on Facebook are doing the same. So going for lots of walks with Gabe, and just trying to stay healthy and happy. And it's easy here because I pretty much social distance myself anyway when I'm here on the farm. I don't really go anywhere special. I do a lot of work here with my garden, and all of my fiber crafts keep me really, really busy. So I could probably stay here indefinitely. As long as I had food, I'd be fine. And I certainly, if you came to my house and saw all of the things I have in my basement for fiber-related things, you'd say, yeah, she's got several years here worth of stuff. So, so I want to get started. First of all, and some of these things I have posted in my Etsy shop. So if you're interested in any of these things, this is some beautiful yarn that I spun, and I just did a 2-ply with this, and I think there's 150 yards of this. I'll have to recount it again, but there's 2 skeins. And this is from a friend of mine has a shop up in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, where the groundhog does or doesn't see a shadow. They have the big festival there in February. But it's called Autumn House Farm. And she has a cross, she calls her sheep Caracool, and it's a Carashire, and it's a cross between a Lincoln and a Caracool, I think, and it's really, really nice. It's beautiful. And then she dyed it with all these gorgeous jewel tones. I really love this. I love the yarn. And I'm just gonna, I have a huge bin of things here beside me, so I'm just going to pull things out, and I'm not going to label finished objects or whatever. So I am thinking about getting some sheep, and I am really interested in the Wensleydale sheep. They have an absolutely gorgeous, long, curly, lustrous fiber, and I just really love the look of them. So this came from Windsong Farm, and these folks are in Burdett, New York, and I just love this. So I bought 3 skeins. Or I bought 4 skeins, and I just wanted to see. I have used Wensleydale before, and I really, really like the yarn. I like the luster, I like the softness, I love spinning it. It's beautiful to spin. So this is their label, and this is a lace weight. This is 250 yards. And it was not expensive at all. It was a really decent price. So I'll probably do some weaving with this. Speaking of weaving, I finished this. I had this on my loom. I had a lot of this yarn. And Stephen's mom had has so much fiber and yarn. And she passed away about 5 years ago. And I am the recipient of the yarn and the fiber. And she wasn't a spinner, she was a sewer, and she did some knitting. And then Stephen's grandmother was also a seamstress. And so it was this unbelievable collection of fabric. So I had a little tiny stash. I think I have probably 50 boxes of fabric in my basement from her. So, and yarn, and you name it, it's down there. We did give a lot of it to the Union Mission. We had just tables of things that we were giving away, and I went through and picked some things that I liked. So, but anyway, I think some of this yarn came from Autumn House Farm, and then the mohair that's in here, it's like a boucle. It came from Stephen's mom's collection. So this is really super long, and I've made several of these. This one, what I did was I turned it and I sewed up the side of it so it's a double thickness, but it's really thick, so it will make a really, really nice warm scarf. And it's got this gorgeous gold in it, which I really love, the gold strands. So, okay. This is my pride and joy. Okay, so I purchased some, this is from Fleece and Harmony, and I purchased this, and then I also purchased a couple skeins of, it's called Mayflower. This is called Lichen, and the Mayflower is kind of like a purple color, and together the combination of the purple and the green were really pretty. I really liked it. But I was collecting avocado pits and avocado skins, and this is like a rose gold. It turned out so pretty. This is Wensleydale, and this is from another farm in Wyoming, and I tried to contact her because this is also super soft and it's a lace weight, and excuse me, I tried to contact them, and I don't think they're doing this anymore. I couldn't even get them on the telephone. It just disconnected. So I did a warp, and I am gonna make a woven scarf. It'll probably be a twill, a tutu twill. And I'm gonna put this on my loom probably later today. I'll start threading. So when I do, I'll film so we can have a little talk, and I'll share my process of warping the loom with this. But look at the colors together. I was so happy. I was so happy. So what I did is I boiled the avocado pits and the skins, and I think I had them on my stove for a really long time, like a day or a day and a half. And then I soaked the yarn, the Wensleydale lace yarn. I soaked it in water, and then I added, what did I add? Alum, and I think I just did the alum with it. And it wasn't very much alum. And then I soaked that for a while, and then I immersed the yarn into the pot and simmered it for about an hour or so and let it cool down. I didn't have a plan. I just did it and I kept checking the color. But I am going to start to document and write everything down that I do so I can duplicate the colors, because this is gorgeous. So it was going to be a shawl, and I was afraid, I didn't want to do yarn chicken, and I was afraid I might run out. So, and I thought if I have to dye up more, I do have more Wensleydale in the cream, and I thought if I have to dye more, it might not be the same color, and I might be halfway through. So I just made it, I think this is a 15-inch wide, and it's 72 inches long. So, and I was so happy with this. Okay, just a couple more things. I made this several years ago, and it's a commercial yarn. I don't remember where I got it, or people give me yarn. And so it was probably from something that someone gave me. And I just did a garter stitch and made this, and it's a cow, and I really like it. Okay, here's another purchase. I saw this on the internet. I ordered a book. It's like the Encyclopedia of Natural Dyeing. And Ninja Chickens, on her podcast, she recommended this book because she said it's very scientific and it gives really, really good explanations. That did not come yet. But as I was searching for that, I found this little book. And it's the Dusty Little Dye Book. Antique light colors, 12 dye formulas, 26 shades, all using the same 3 dyes. And it's by Karen Cable. And let's see, she has written other books. These are little books that she's written, inspired by my son Dylan, who had a shelf of tiny books that we love to read together. Now older, Dylan helps to make his mom's little books. So she has a book on rug hooking, marbleized wool, little book of lavender, and primitive apple head dolls. And I'm not sure where, she's from Oregon. So this is just a really, really sweet, cute little book. Really sweet. So, so this came in the mail, and with a really sweet little note, and it was packaged really pretty. Okay, this, the woman that comes, a friend of mine that comes to clean my house and just check on things, she left my house last week, and it was like I came home like it was Christmas. This huge garbage bag filled with all kinds of patterns and quilting fabric that were included. So these were like probably 10 to 15 kits, and each of them had fabric in it, and there were some bags, there were some table runners, little baby quilts, just patterns for everything. So I made this bag, and of course I modified the pattern just a little bit. What I did is I put, it did call for a lining, but let's see if you can see it, yeah. I added a front pocket, and I added batting, because it was just kind of a satchel, and I added batting, and then I did some machine quilting, just some diagonal lines on it, and then I added batting to the handles as well. And this is going to go in my shop, and I found these on Etsy, the little wooden tags that I think are really, really sweet. So I'm probably going to put a little button on the outside too, something to make it decorative. So it's a little Christmas pattern with Santa Clauses on it, and the fabric, it all came in the kit. The fabric is really sweet. The one thing that was kind of tricky, and I did find on YouTube a tutorial, whenever I put the lining inside the bag, because it wasn't like you fold everything inside out, you just stuffed the lining in and then pinned the top. The lining was so much bigger, and it was like all poofy in there, and it just looked kind of sloppy. So I found a tutorial, and what she said to do was you certainly have to keep the top of the bag, the lining has to be the same so they fit together widthwise. But she said what you do is when you are sewing the lining, you start off with the normal stitch width. You start off and then you just taper down. And I think she went in actually like a 1/2 inch on each side. You just have to play with it, and then because I think I had to sew this a couple times before it fit nicely inside there without puckering and looking all sloppy. And then I also added a little inside pocket too, and the pocket on the outside is divided, so I always like to have a place for my keys that I can grab really fast, and a place for my cell phone. So this fits my cell phone, which is the larger size cell phone. And so yeah, so I'm gonna probably do a couple more of these. And let's see, my friend's daughter is due to have a baby, I think in sometime in May, so it's a couple weeks. And she knows she's going to have a little boy. And so I had this fabric. I bought it just because I thought it was really, really cute. And I thought someday I'll make a little baby quilt with this. Well, this is for Amelie, so she's getting the baby quilt. I machine quilted this. And I love the back, the polka dots on the back. So the one thing that I did, and I don't think I'm ever going to do it again, I use the cotton batting, which I don't mind that, although there are some folks that say, I think there's a cotton and silk quilting batting that is much softer. This feels a little stiff. And I don't think it's the cotton batting. What I did, because I knew I was going to machine quilt it, I sprayed it with that quilting spray stuff. And it made it stiff. And I washed it twice, and it's getting a little softer, but I think I'm almost done with the batting, because I've been using batting to make the masks. So I think I might have just a little bit more batting left, and I'll be able to finish making masks with that. But then I'm going to order some of the silk and cotton batting. I think that would be much nicer. So I was going to do a edging of the like a satin edging, because I know little kids like to rub and suck their thumb, but I did this, so I thought it was really kind of cute. I like the polka dots, and the polka dots in the Dalmatian. So the one thing I thought was really cute is they have him by a fire hydrant, which is cute. Okay, moving right along. I don't know if I showed you this or not, but this is a scarf that I made. This is the Wensleydale, and this is in the twill. And I made this a couple years ago, and I dyed the stripe with onion skins. So I thought that was fun. So this needs a little pressing, but the drape And the softness on this is just absolutely gorgeous. The other thing that I was trying to mimic is in some of the old blankets and quilts, they do a little pattern that looks like that. So I was trying to duplicate that on the scarf as well. So it's on both edges. Okay. And I love my fringe, my twisted fringe. That's always fun. It's very time consuming to do. I have a little cranker that twists the ends, the two strands, and then you let them roll back on themselves. But I really like the fringe. Okay. This was my next big project that I've been dying to try and dying to work on. I want to do the mud painting on cloth, and I just wanted to experiment a little bit with it before I tried doing it. So I ordered on Etsy some mud cloth, and I think I shared, maybe I didn't, some of the colors. I think I did share in one of my other podcasts some of the gorgeous colors and the designs and everything. So I just wanted to see how things looked, and I lined it with an old, really old bed linen that I got online from a woman. She has an Instagram account, and I can't think of the name of it off the bat, but it was over in the UK, and she gets fabric, vintage fabric from France and all over. So this was an early bed sheet. I believe it's hand woven, but it's really nice. It's really heavy duty linen. And it just matches perfectly with this fabric, which is a real heavy, dense cotton. And I believe this is hand woven. But this is so traditional of the African kente cloth, and they only weave a strip that wide. And then they weave it whatever length, and then they sew the strips together. And so that is just a really gorgeous example of their weaving techniques. But here's the paint, and this was painted with the mud pigment, the mud cloth. And then what I did is I used just kind of a burlap cord. I thought that looked, just really matched it. And then the other thing that I did was, I have a friend who is a 10th-generation African weaver. He's from Ghana. His name is Capucci. And his father and Capucci both have cloth in the Smithsonian and in every major museum across the United States. And I have probably 4 or 5 boxes of glass beads from Ghana that have been hand painted, and I just love them. I love the feel. I love the weight of it. So I just thought this is, the holes are going, this way, and I couldn't tie that on. I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I just thought, well, this might just be kind of fun just to loop around here and secure it that way. So I made this one, and then I made this one. And I just really love these. I just think they're so primitive looking, and here again you can see the stitching because they're only weaving probably, if it's 6 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches wide. And I love, now this is, I don't know if they dyed the yellowy gold with mud pigment, but this feels like it's painted. like acrylic paint, but it's still gorgeous. It's still beautiful, and it has that rough feel to it, which matches the roughness of the fabric. So it's very cool. So, and then I was busy making my little lavender sashes. So just a little added touch. I love these. So I was inspired by Kate from the last Homely House, and she just takes pieces of fabric and she makes little boxes and things like that. So I just thought, I'll give that a try. So just using up some old denim fabric and some buttons that I purchased online. So those are the things I've been working on. I have one other thing I wanted to show you. Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. This is a book that was, it's called Vintage Notions, and it's been out for several years, and I think I wrote in the book when I purchased it, I wrote 2011, I think, when I got this book. And it's a book that's written by Amy Barickman, and this is an inspirational guide to needlework, cooking, sewing, fashion, and fun. And Amy got the inspiration for this book I want to make sure I get the name right. So this book was written because she was really inspired by this woman, Mary Brooks Picken. And Mary Brooks Picken was the granddaughter of pioneers and was born in a Kansas farmhouse in 1886. And as a small child, Mary's sewing and design talent were apparent at a very young age. She set off for a career in fashion that took her to Kansas City and later to Boston, where she further refined her dressmaking skills. As it was the custom, she married young and began a traditional home life that would later directly influence her career path as the first American authority on home arts, and she was the founder of the Women's Institute of Domestic Arts and Sciences in Scranton, Pennsylvania. The school, founded in 1916, and was the heart and soul of Mary's vision, and combined correspondence courses with classroom instruction in dressmaking, millinery, cooking, fashion design, beauty, homemaking. It attracted students from around the world as enrollment climbed to almost 300,000 women, making it the largest school in history devoted solely to the education of women. Keeping in mind that women could not yet vote, less than 10% of women worked outside the home, and very few went to college. Vocational schools were thriving for young men, but women remained an afterthought in the American workforce. It was nothing short of amazing that Mary Brooks Picken founded an educational institution that was affordable for these women, generated income for them immediately, and elevated the value of their work. So this is divided into months, and it's once you get to the month, then it's divided into cooking and sewing, fashion. It's a lovely book, and it's the early 20th century photographs and things. I just love looking at it. So I'm going to turn to April, the month of April. There we go. And there's just two passages I want to share with you. I thought this page was so pretty. And it says, spring is here, the world grows young again. Join in nature's spring song and grow young with the world. And then I'll leave you with just this little passage. As Laura McFarland writes in this month's Department of Inspiration, in the glorious springtime, let's not miss one single minute of its happiness, I'm sorry. In this glorious springtime, let's not miss one single minute of its happiness, nor one item of its inspiration. When the arbutus first perfumes the air, let's be up and doing. Plan your wardrobe with the thrill and ecstasy so characteristic of the season. Refurbish what you can, buy new what you must, but in all events get in tune with the new and budding season. I don't know about you, but that's advice I can wholeheartedly embrace.